Moving on to college football, Johnny and I have more than just our Giants fandom in common. We
Yep.
also have our Notre Dame fandom in common. When it comes to Notre Dame football, this number does not look awfully familiar. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish are 0-2 for the first time in some time. Disgusting performance on Saturday against Marshall, losing 26-21. Tommy, who's the problem? Is it Marcus Freeman? Is it Tommy Rees? Is it Tyler Buchner, who is out for the season now? Hope he recovers from that shoulder injury. What's going on in South Bend?
I tell you what, it's such a tale of 2 weeks with Notre Dame because even though they didn't win against Ohio State, I think you had to come out of that game saying that, they did their job. They were in that game for about 95% of it. And you're like, all right, now you know what you do. You go out there and run out the season and win out the rest of the way, and they get into the playoff. Well, now it's like, forget about it. Now you don't know what bowl game you're going to be
New
making
Year's
at this
6,
point.
potentially.
No, I mean, I don't even know if you can make that now with how this has been. I mean, you take out of these 2 weeks and look who they still have to play later on in the season. They got Clemson, they got UNC, which is not a gimme. They got USC. It's tough. Maybe the problem is, Tom. Maybe we ourselves maybe overreacted, and we know that they had to go through a transition, and maybe they have to do this earlier than expected. That might be what it is. And now your starting quarterback's out for the season. This might be the year where they just have to make that full transition that was coming down the line, and now it's just got to start this year.
Well, I do think it didn't help that they didn't name a starter until very late in the offseason. I do think Drew Pyne is a better quarterback than Tyler Buchner, in my opinion. So I'm happy that he's starting because I saw Buchner last year. He's more of a runner than a passer. He plays scared, and Pyne has a little bit more experience. Michael Mayer is the one player this year that's going to keep this offense together. He is the number one target. I don't think it helped that they lost Avery Davis to a season-ending injury. It doesn't help that Freeman is a rookie at the head coaching position. Tommy Rees needs to be better. He held himself accountable. The defense needs to be better too. They gave up 219 rushing yards to Marshall.
Yeah. And let's also be honest, Tom. That final score on Saturday is so misleading. I mean, it was much worse than 26-21. I mean, I was out at a friend's end of summer pool party, and we were following this game. It was 20. I mean, it was not even that close.
I'm glad I was working during it and missed it.
I couldn't believe that. I chat with friends down here in South Carolina. I mean, I'm in the minority of being a Notre Dame fan, but then again, I come from a place where college football is not that popular, so it's
right.
We're a little bit different. But yeah, no, this was as I would say as embarrassing and as low moment for Notre Dame as in quite some time. Because yes, and Brian Kelly somewhere is laughing because yeah, he would have been embarrassed. He would have had a big time loss at Ohio State, but he also would not have lost this game. So I don't know if I necessarily put that on Marcus Freeman or if I just put that on the fact that this is now has to be a transitional year.
Freeman's young, and it is a transitional year. And I do think if Kelly was coaching this game, Notre Dame doesn't lose it for sure.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion. We could bash him all we want.
But the thing is, Brian Kelly would have been the kind of game where they would have lost to Ohio State 52-24. So
True.
you kind of have to you have to pick your poison there. But then again, you can't lose to. I don't care who's coaching. You can't lose to Marshall at home in your home opener. I don't care what the situation is. But give Marshall credit. Give the Sun Belt credit. They had a great week last week.
They did. And I think now Notre Dame heads into the game against California with Drew Pyne starting. And the reason why, Johnny, I still think a New Year's Six bowl is possible because of what you said. Who's still on the schedule? UNC, BYU, Clemson, USC. 3 of those 4 teams I just listed are top 12 teams in the nation as of today. And if Notre Dame wins out and wins those 3 games, which could be possible, who knows? I don't think they will. They could certainly make a New Year's Six bowl, even with the loss to Marshall. If they win out and beat these teams convincingly, like USC, who they haven't lost to in forever, BYU, and I think that game is at home, and then the Clemson game is at home as well.
Yeah, and I think the Clemson game actually they have a chance at because I'm not really sold on DJ
Yeah.
over there at Clemson. I mean,
No,
he's had
ukulele. Have you ever pronounced his name?
yeah, yeah. I don't know how great he really is. He was struggling. If you remember that first game of the season, even though they won big against Georgia Tech, he struggled a lot in that
He
game.
did.
So, um, it's tough because the ACC is not a strong conference.
Yep.
So it's tough. You see who they're playing, and it's kind of misleading. I mean, I would not be surprised Notre Dame makes it a game there. But that's the thing too, and that's just what everybody had to understand. That's why I'm kind of bummed today, still, Tom, because Notre Dame actually had the schedule where, if you lose against Ohio State, who's probably going to win the Big Ten this year, if you play them tough for 95% and you run out the stretch, you actually have very quality. You have quality wins and a quality schedule and quality outcomes. You could have
Yeah.
definitely gotten in
You could have.
because yeah. So
It's tough because I don't think Freeman is a bad coach. I just think he's a young coach. And Notre Dame panicked once Kelly left because he did the typical Irish goodbye.
yes,
He left
that's what Hank
and
says.
he
Yeah,
and he left. So that meant, oh shit, what is Jack Swarbrick going to do, right?
yeah.
And now you hear, I mean, they're trying to keep fans in attendance here. They're trying to keep their recruits at this point. They're playing to keep their recruits. They just got CJ Carr to commit, 5-star QB. You don't want to lose that guy. You have to keep playing to win. You always play to win the game, in my opinion. And they're bringing in Manti Te'o, who will be in attendance on Saturday, which if you didn't watch that documentary yet, go check it out. It's amazing. But yeah, that's how I feel. Notre Dame, I think they're finishing 8-4, 9-3, but obviously I want them to be 10-2. So that's how I feel.
And look, it wouldn't be surprising if they could do that because they are that kind of team that can swing you back in.
Yeah.
But yeah, Marcus Freeman was dealt a very, very tough spot. That's for sure. And yeah, you said it. You have to play to keep your recruits and your players because the thing that's changed college football and college sports now for the landscape forever is the transfer portal.
And that, yep.